This is Umar for BoxNation. I'm joined by a Terrace Cult sponsored Gareth A Davies. Is that correct or not correct?
I'm not sure about that. I just like the gear.
No, it's
There you
smart.
go. Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Gareth, how do you reflect on what was a incredible night and weekend at the O2? Sensational stuff.
One of the greatest British heavyweight fights of all time, and one of the greatest fights between two British heavyweights, if I can say it like that as well. The two men left it all in the ring. It was an amazing night. I mean, I'm sure, like you, it just stayed with so many of us. I found myself talking about it. I've been talking about it all week, really, and not just professionally, but with people in the street. When you talk to people about the fight, how much people enjoyed it, and I didn't see you after the fight. I went to the kind of after party, if you like, and had a word with Fabio's mum and Frazer himself, and just said to just express my feelings on what they gave, literally everything, and how much both of their stock will have risen. Fraser walked into that bar upstairs at the Intercontinental next to the O2, and the whole place stopped and gave him a round of applause. And I spoke to him a little while after that, and I said, "You see that reception right there? That's the reception you'll now get when you walk down the street in London, when you go to Las Vegas, when you're on the beach somewhere, when you're in Burton-on-Trent, and when you're around boxing fans, because that fight will live in people's memory forever. And you will always be, no matter what you do from here on, your stock has risen enormously, and you will be respected by everyone. No one will say a bad word about you ever again, because they will always remember that fight." And because he's received a lot of criticism, and the same applies to Fabio Wardley. And I had that chat with his mother about it. What a credit he is to his mother, like you are to yours. But as I told your mother when I met your mum and dad, um, and yeah, it was an amazing night. You can't say any more than that. It took your breath away. I felt myself hoarse afterwards, even though I was obviously doing the broadcast. The adrenaline you get from an event like that, it's extraordinary. And those two men left so much in there, but also at the same time, a lot will have been taken out of them as well. So they need to think carefully and hard about the rematch. I'd love to see them do it at Portman Road in front of 40,000 fans outdoors in early September. It'd be amazing. But it was a great night. It really was a great night. The whole card was fantastic as well, and it was very, very enjoyable to be at the O2 with 15,000 people. It's always a great venue. The fans know their stuff, and it was a pleasure and an honour to be there to witness it all.
It definitely was. When you look at your Tyson Furies, your Usyks, Joseph Parkers, Anthony Joshua's, they're in a league of their own, right at the very top. Then I'd say you've got, your Philip Hrgovic's, your Joe Joyce's, Dillian White's, Daniel Dubois. Like, in terms of that bracket, how far do you think Fraser and Fabio are away from that bracket? Was it hard to tell right now?
Well, I think my feeling was, that after that performance from both of them, heart, desire, chin, stamina, courage, um, Fabio's boxing ability is not at the level of Frazer Clarke, and yet his desire is at the same level. They both have that same level of desire, and we witnessed that. I think they both belong in the top 20 in the world. Um, I think I think we'll come on to Joseph Parker in a minute, because I think we know what's going to happen next. Well, what should happen next anyway, after he took that and wants it back for good, if I can say it that way, with Dillian White. You've got the top four in the world right now, and then you've got the next 16. And I think you and I have talked on and off about where the top 16 in the world are, and I think those two belong in the top 20, along with Joe Joyce as well. So you could literally say um, Joshua's being lined up to fight at some point in September. We're hearing Fury and Usyk are fighting in May. Joseph Parker, it looks like, is maybe fight Dillian White now, because he's called him out, wants the rematch, wants revenge. And then you've got another 16, 15 fighters. You throw them in a hat. You can match any of them with any of them. It's as simple as that. And, you can literally put the names on balls in a hat and draw out two at a time, and you get some great contests. So I think it's a time of it's a if you put in a great performance, you look at Joseph Parker, he's put in two great performances in his last two outings. Equally, Anthony Joshua, and look where they are. They're, people see them as 3 and 4 in the world without any real debate about it. So, and no doubt those two will fight at some point as well in the coming 18 months. But yeah, it's a show. It's a real shop window at the moment if you produce a great performance because of the resonance that the heavyweight division's always had, but what it particularly has at the moment because there's so much investment in it.
Well, good example of what you're saying, and just now that you can put anyone in the top 20 and make a good fight. We've seen a fantastic fight added to the Fury-Usyk card between Ajit Cabello and Frank Sanchez. Easily two top 20 guys, maybe arguably two top 10 guys, especially with Cabello's last win against Makhmudov. I don't know if you saw my interview with Frank Warren, but he hit back
I
at
did. I saw the clips. I saw the
yeah,
clips.
yeah,
Yeah.
hit back at people. Well, certain people, not everyone. Disliking the card that His Excellency in Riyadh season have put on for May 18th with Fury-Usyk. How do you think the card shapes up?
It's fine. There's four main events there if you took them to different territories and different stadiums and or not necessarily stadiums, but for different arenas. I haven't got it in front of me. Jaya Patayo is as Marius Bradis. That's a great fight. Kakache and Cordina. Again, that's gonna bring a lot of fireworks. You know, it's Kakache's really up for giving Cordina a hard time. We know how good Cordina is. Trying to think about the other. Kovalev's on the card. I'm trying to think of the other fights on the card
Mark
now.
Chamberlain's back in Saudi.
Yeah, Chamberlain, we know he's going to give 100% anyway. What a great story he is. The cards. Let's be honest, it is a really good card, but the fulcrum, the focus really of this card is on this biggest fight of the century, and in terms of the undisputed heavyweight title fight. So it's something we haven't had for 25 years, quarter of a century. So it's enormous. Most of the focus is going to be on those two men. Um, and I'm sure Anthony Joshua is in shape because if anything does go wrong in the meantime, I'm sure he'll be stepping in there to fight either one of them. And obviously, well, I hope to see Fury-Usyk, but there's nothing wrong with the card at all. Frank was absolutely right. Um, I'll get pilloried for that, but he was right. I was there at lunch with him last week. We were talking about these things. I think that's maybe where you did the interview, and he perfectly right to say what I don't choose to criticize cards generally anyway. It's not something I'm not putting them together. They're not my. I'm not putting the money up. I'm not. I'm talking to the managers and the different promoters, and a card is a card, and we see weak cards sometimes, we see strong cards sometimes. But that card is absolutely banging for an undercard for Fury and Usyk. I mean, the 5x5, we're waiting to hear about that. There's a lot of excitement about that as well. You know, anyone that wants to moan about boxing at the moment, four undisputed heavyweight title fights in May, May the 4th, May the 6th, May the 18th, May the 18th, and June the 1st. Unprecedented, frankly. A ton of great fights before that. Sky Nicholson in a world title fight this weekend. Um, you know, there's George Kambosos and Vasyl Lomachenko coming up. There's Hagen Garcia in a couple of weeks' time in America. There's so much going on. I mean, then I can go through those other ones. The Canelo fight in May with Munguia, and then Inouye and Lewis Neary, which is a fantastic fight between two absolute bangers, by the way. And can the monster become an undisputed champion? Is it a third weight division? He's certainly been he's already the undisputed champion in two. That's right, but a 4-weight world champion. I mean, God, we are just spoilt at the moment. And then we get that card at the weekend put together by Ben Shalom and BOXXER on Sky, which from top to bottom was absolutely phenomenal. From 5 p.m. till 11 p.m. was brilliant on an Easter Sunday.
Just lastly to close off, I don't want to say Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and Ben Shalom and BOXXER are going at it like that because I don't think they are, especially the way Ben and BOXXER conduct themselves. It's not like how Eddie and Frank used to go back in the day. Nowhere
No,
near.
well, you were responsible. You were the one responsible for that.
Yeah, yeah, touche.
Talking out of both sides of your mouth every time you were with them. I'm just teasing you, but you were just doing your job. But no, listen. I praised you last week on Talk Sport, say that you are a fantastic interviewer, which you are, and you work your cotton socks off as well. But that was part of the paradigm shifted. I know what questions coming, but the paradigm shifted. Frank and Eddie are working together. It's brilliant for boxing, and I just hope that Ben and Eddie and Ben and Frank work together as well, because that'll be good for boxing. Because there's some mix and matches there that need to be made for the health of certain divisions.
Yeah, with Ben and Eddie, as I said, it's not the dynamic that used to be there with Frank and Eddie, but I wouldn't say from the outside looking in, the relationship doesn't seem very healthy at the moment with what's gone on with the back and forth between the Dalton Smith and Adam Azim stuff, all the purse bid situations before. It doesn't seem very healthy. Do you see this being resolved one day?
Yeah, I think they've got to. I mean, you can bring in Chev Clarke in the cruiserweight division as well with Isaac Chamberlain, Vidal Riley after Saturday night. We nearly got caught up in the melee there with them, didn't we? I don't know if you were there at the
I
moment, but
saw that, yeah.
I was about to speak to Vidal Riley, who I didn't speak to in the end, actually, because of all the commotion. Obviously, Chev trying to say, look, I'm the mandatory, so don't run away from me. He's got something to prove. He's a great fighter with great power. Who really wants to prove something. But I want to see Chamberlain and Riley as well, which is a great fight. So they'll resolve it. And I know that Frank Smith and Ben Shalom and his team talk. So it's just Eddie being Eddie. He likes to put the boot into Ben when he's got the opportunity, as if say, listen, son, you're a beginner in this, and I'm the man when it comes to this. But I don't think Adam Azim was ready to go up to world level and stay at world level and fight a Dalton Smith, who I think is at world level right now. You look at Richardson Hutchins, who did 12 rounds with Jose, or went 12 rounds with Jose Zepeda and beat him. Look what Dalton Smith did. Look how good Hutchins is, and how well he's rated. Dalton's ready for world level fights, maybe Regis Prograis, but he's ready to stay up there. Adam might beat Dalton, but he's not ready to be at that level the whole time right now. I spoke to Adam about it on Saturday. Of course, as a fighter, he wants to fight everyone. He doesn't fear anyone. All our fighters don't fear each other. They just want to meet everyone as soon as they want to. But he's a very young man. He's still developing, and it's a great fight. But I don't think it's the right timing right now. Dalton's on a different trajectory for me to Adam Azim.
Okay, Gareth, appreciate your time, and no doubt we'll have a conversation soon. Obviously, Gil Barrett next week in Manchester, and then Haney Garcia, the big one in New York, the week after.
All right, yeah, lovely. I've given you all the signs. That's all you're getting for now.
Thank you, Gareth.
Cheers, bud. Speak to you later.